Hello YouTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today I thought it would be fun to chat about books that are related to my favorite hobby other than reading, and that is scrapbooking. Now, I consider myself a scrapbooker, although I have not done any scrapbooking in the past few years. There's a lot of reasons for that, none of which I'm going to go into right now, but I do really want to make more time for it in my life. I have a lot of scrapbooking goals that I want to do before I leave this earth, and I am really interested in photos and memory keeping. For a long time, 14 years actually, I was a creative memories consultant. Now, I hesitate to say that online because when I was a creative memories consultant, they had a lot of very hard and fast rules about what we could and couldn't say about being a consultant on social media. Social media has changed a lot since I was a creative memories consultant, and I'm hoping that it's okay for me to at least tell you that I used to be, as long as I make it clear that at this moment I am not a creative memories consultant, and I have not been for several years. I would like the option to possibly do it again one of these days, but for now I'm happy to just consider myself a scrapbooker. I do own a lot of scrapbook supplies and a lot of scrapbooks. I have a lot of completed albums. It's just that none of them have been completed recently. So for today, I wanted to mesh my two hobbies and talk a little bit about fiction books that are about scrapbooking. Now, when we think of scrapbooking books, we probably think of nonfiction books, mostly idea books when it comes to scrapbooking. I have quite a stack myself of idea books. This one I got from a book sale not too long ago, Sensational Page Ideas for Scrapbooks. It came with these tabs on it, and I left them on there because whoever owned this book before must have tabbed their favorite pages, and so I am curious to see what their favorite pages were. I also have Cynthia Hart's Scrapbook Workshop. This is another one that I have acquired recently. This one I think I got from Book Outlet. It's Lisa Gibbons' Scrapbooking Traditions. And then I got this at a book sale for Katie when she was younger. It's a scrapbooking idea book for kids called Cool Scrapbooks by Pam Price. And of course I have all of the Creative Memories idea books. They are out in my other building where I have all of my scrapbook stuff. These are just some that I have acquired in the last few years at library book sales and things like that. And then not only are there idea books for scrapbooking, there are some nonfiction scrapbooking themed books. I have this one here called Scraps, Adventures in Scrapbooking by Wendy Bagley. I also have another one that I couldn't lay my hand on today that is called Hugs for Scrapbookers, and I've read it. It is really nice. But in recent years, since I have not been doing much in the way of making my own scrapbooks, I have started discovering that there is quite a good catalog of fiction that relates to scrapbooking. And this is going to be one of those classic cases of me owning all of it and only having read one of them. But I thought it would be fun to talk about. If you are interested in scrapbooking and reading, you may not know that some of these exist. Some of them you may have already read, but I would love to chat with you about them. Now, the first series that probably most of you are familiar with is the Laura Childs Scrapbooking series. This is a cozy mystery series about a scrapbook owner from New Orleans, and I have read the first one of them. It's been a few years now. This was really the first scrapbooking fiction that I learned about, and it was not long before I started on BookTube that I discovered this series. It was when I was doing library book sales at our public library, and one of these books came through the donation bin, or maybe it was weeded out from the library, I can't remember, and I saw it and I was so excited because I didn't know that there was any fiction that related to scrapbooking. since then, I have collected most of the books, and I'm really looking forward to reading them. Recently, my friend Donna, whose channel name is Paradonna Palimpsest, she noticed on my Stack the Series challenge that this is one of the series that I have listed on there, and she has read some of them, and I think was interested in possibly joining me and reading some of them with me, which would be awesome. So if any of you watching this video see any of these books that you would like to read with me, please let me know. Now, it's going to be a little while before I am going to be ready to read most of these, simply because I have my 20 by 20 challenge that ends at the end of 2020, and I have so many books on there that I really want to get read, and most of these books are not on those stacks, but these are books that I do want to get to in the near future. So let's just go through them and let's just chat about them. Before I get into the Laura Child series, I want to tell you what made me decide to even do this video to begin with. Recently, I was at our library and I was in the friend's room, and I was chatting with the ladies in there, and I noticed a couple of books from a series by Rebecca Seitz, and it's called Sisters Inc. I already had the first 3 of the series. I saw some on their shelf that I didn't even know existed. So I said, oh my goodness, hold those for me. I will be back to get those. So I came back the next day with some cash and I bought those. And then that very same week, I was at our bookmobile, and on the shelf of the bookmobile, I just happened to see in the large print section the Avalon Ladies Scrapbooking Society. Now, this is not brand new. I think this came out maybe in 2013. It's by Darian Gee, and I had never heard of this. So I checked it out, and of course I haven't read it, but I might think about reading this one this summer. If any of you have ever heard of this, let me know if you want to read it with me, and I'll see if I can make that happen. But this is about obviously a scrapbooking society or a scrapbooking club of ladies, and I think this is going to be very similar to other women's fiction where you might have a quilting club or a sewing group or whatever craft or hobby brings these people together, and we're going to get to learn about each of their stories and what they're working through. One of the things that it does say is that this takes place now I normally don't like to read the backs of books, but there's a tiny little snippet here where it says that this takes place in the little town of Avalon, Illinois, population 4,243, and it says some residents scrapbook their memories and make new ones, while others struggle to free themselves from the past. So, we all have things that we would just as soon forget, and then we all have things that we would love to remember. And scrapbooking can bring up all of those things. So it is about several different women, each in a different season of their life, and I think it sounds great. Now, along that same vein, this is a book I've had on my shelf for quite a while, and the premise sounds very similar. It's called A Page Out of Life by Kathleen Reed, and again, it's about a scrapbooking club and the group of women and all of their stories. So if you have ever heard of this one, or if you've ever read it, let me know if you enjoyed it. And then this is another one I've had on my shelves for quite a while. This is called Scrap Everything by Leslie Gould. Now, this one for sure is a Christian book. Leslie Gould does some writing for guideposts, and this particular book was a Crossings book club selection. It is about 2 women. One of them is the owner of a scrapbook store. Her name is Rebecca, and then the other woman, her name is Elise, and it says on the inside flap that after living in this town in Oregon for about a month, she wanders into the scrapbook store that is owned by Rebecca, and Elise is not a scrapbooker at this point, but I'm assuming that she does become one, and they become friends, and this is the story of their friendship and how it relates to scrapbooking. And I don't know why I haven't read it yet. It just sounds really great. So the next books I want to show you are a series. There are 5 of them, but they are cataloged as book 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first book was published by Thomas Nelson Publishing, which would indicate to me that it is a Christian book. This is labeled book 0 in the Sisters Inc. series. It is about 4 women who scrapbook, and it is by Rebecca Seitz, I don't know. And this one is called Prince Charming. I don't know anything about it other than what I've already told you. And I saw this when I was doing book sales at the library. I saw from the photograph on the front that it had something to do with photographs, and I grabbed it. Then later I found the book Sisters Inc., probably either at a different library sale or maybe my own library, and I knew that it had something to do with photos or paper crafting of some sort, and I picked it up and didn't even realize till I got home that the two were by the same author and that they were related. So it wasn't too long after that that I found a copy of Coming Unglued, and it says it's a Sisters Inc. novel. This is book 2. It's a little dog-eared, but I've had it on my shelf for a while, and I'm excited about reading this whole series. That's all that I knew about. I don't even think I ever took the time in recent years to look it up and see if there were any more. But when I was at my library in the Friends Room very recently, I saw all of these. Well, I knew I had this one, but I have another scrapbooking friend who I know would enjoy having this, and she doesn't mind reading things out of order, so I don't even need to find the first book for her. So I know that she would enjoy having my extra copy of Coming Unglued. And so then I picked up books 3 and 4, which are actually the 4th and 5th books in the series. This one is Scrapping Plans, and the last one is Perfect Peace. From reading a little bit on the back of these books, it says that these stories are about 4 unlikely sisters. I think they are of different heritage groups, and maybe they are adopted into the same family, or maybe they are just like sisters. I don't know if they're actually sisters or not. I haven't read that far into it. And so it just sounds like a really fun series. And the stories have to do with scrapbooking and paper crafting and women's friendships, and that's what I'm all about. So I am super excited to have these on my shelf, and I'll be even more excited when I finally get around to reading them at some point, someday. I don't know when, but someday. So next, let's talk about the cozy mysteries that are related to scrapbooking and paper crafting. I already mentioned the Large House series, so I'll go over the ones that I own and also insert pictures of the ones that I don't own. So far there are 16 in that series. And then there are a couple of other series that I know very little about, but they are semi-related to paper crafting or scrapbooking, so I want to be sure to tell you about those in case you don't know about them already. And maybe you know more about them than I do, and you could tell me about them. The first 3 I have in mass market paperbacks. I would love to find hardcovers of these because I have almost all the others in hardcover. The first one is Keepsake Crimes. This is the only one that I've read. This whole series is about a woman who owns a scrapbook shop in New Orleans, and in this first book, I believe it is at Mardi Gras time, and there is a person found dead on one of the floats, and he's someone who was recently seen having a fight or a disagreement with the main character's ex-husband. So that's how she gets pulled into it, and it goes on from there. The second book is Photo Finished, and book 3 is Bound for Murder. Number 4 is Motif for Murder. Number 5 is Frill Kill. Number 6 is Death Swatch. Number 7, Tragic Magic. Number 8, Fiber and Brimstone. I don't have number 9. It's called Skeleton Letters. Number 10, Postcards from the Dead. Number 11, Guilt Trip. I don't know number 12. It's called Gossamer Ghost. And number 13, I bought brand new at the Book Warehouse, which used to be located not far from Disney, very close to the hotel where they have BookNet Fest, but sadly it has closed. I don't know if it's moved anywhere else or if it will reopen in another location, but I was sad to see it go. Anyway, this is book 13, Parchment and Old Lace. And then I do not have 14, 15, and 16. Book 14 is called Crepe Factor. Book 15 is Glitter Bomb, and book 16 is Mumbo Gumbo Murder. So when Donna and I were chatting a while back about the Large House series and about the books on my stacks, she also mentioned the Stamping Sisters series, which is a cozy mystery series by Terry Thayer, and she mentioned how, you know, that's not exactly scrapbooking, but it's related, which of course I had already had that same thought, and I had them on my shelves already, so So Donna, we think alike. And this is a 3-book series about a woman who is a professional rubber stamper. Now she is in a club, I believe they're called the Stamping Sisters, and they do stamping on cards and things like that. But this particular woman, our main character, is a professional rubber stamper. She does stamping on walls for interior decorating. So the stamping here is not only paper crafting, but also stamping on a larger scale. So I have not read any of these, but I think I started getting these at library book sales till I eventually collected all of them. They caught my eye because of the rubber stamp aspect and because of the fact that scrapbooking and rubber stamping are very related. A lot of the same tools are used for both hobbies, and there's definitely a crossover. So if you're interested in scrapbooking, then these rubber stamping themed cozy mysteries might be something you would enjoy as well. So, funny story about the last book I was going to show you. It's a cozy mystery, and I will put up a picture if I can find one. I don't even know the title of the book. Here's what happened. I set out to film this video several days ago. I pulled books off my shelves and I stacked them here on the cedar chest so that I could sit here and film. And then that particular day I started filming, and for whatever reason I didn't get it finished, or I wasn't happy with the video. So I left the books here knowing that I would get back to this as soon as I could. So meanwhile, I walked through here the other day. I'm in my living room and I saw a book on the stack that I didn't recognize, and I picked it up, and it's a book from a decoupage mystery series. I don't remember the author, I don't remember the title, I just remember that it was a decoupage mystery. And I thought, I wonder where this came from. I really don't have any recollection of purchasing it. It's possible I got it at a fill-a-bag sale or something, but even when I pull the books off my shelves, I don't remember pulling it off my shelf. Now I do have 3 or 4 boxes of books here in the living room that I don't have shelf space for. It's possible that it was in one of those boxes and somehow it found its way to the top so I could show it in this video. I don't know. Or it's very possible that someone gave it to my husband to give me and he set it there and that's why I don't remember it. That's entirely possible. Anyway, I thought, oh, well, this kind of relates to scrapbooking, paper crafting, decoupage. I'll show that in this video. So today I literally had it in my hand and I was sorting out my books, getting ready to film, and it was here. And now that I am to the end of the video, ready to show it to you, it's not here. I don't know where it is. I have looked under the couch where I'm sitting, I've looked under the cedar chest, I've looked in Emily's room and in her bathroom and in the kitchen and in my bathroom, any place where I might have accidentally carried it to, I don't know where it is. So I should at this point be showing you a picture of it. If it looks interesting to you, then let me know if you want to read it together. That is, if I can ever find it. I don't know what happened to it. There's a cat laying here and he's a big cat. He might be laying on it. I don't know. It's the silliest thing. I don't know what happened to that book, but it definitely was here. I'm sure I didn't just imagine it. So anyway, if you've ever read it, let me know. And if you've ever read any of these books, then I'd love to chat about them with you, or if you're interested in reading any of them in the future, let me know. I know that several people who I follow have read some of the Tea Shop mysteries, and I have read 3 of those by Laura Childs, but only 1 of the Scrapbooking mysteries. And then she has the Keckleberry Club that also looks really fun. So all of those are books that I would like to get to in the near future. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you. Oh my goodness, I just found it in Emily's room. I had looked in there. I must have taken it in there and laid it on her nightstand when I went to help her do something when I was in the middle of filming, or before I started filming, or maybe she came in here and got it. I don't know. Anyway, I am so glad that I found this book. This is Stuck on Murder by Lucy Lawrence. It is from the Decoupage Mystery Series. I don't really know much about it. I looked it up. This is the first in the Decoupage Mystery Series. There's only 3 in the series. They are Berkeley publications that came out from 2009 to 2011. and it looks fun. So those of you who are interested in scrapbooking and paper crafting might also be interested in the decoupage mystery series. In fact, if you made it to the end of this video, type decoupage in the comments and see if you can spell it without looking it up. I'm not sure I could spell it without looking it up. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.